Hi there, lights and ones. This is Cheyenne Valentine. Here today again with a new episode. Today's episode, I want to talk about we need to have a resource-based economy. Right now in this world, we have a money-based economy, and I've held my tongue for long enough. I remember working at this one job, and the lady who was training me, she said that she was working overtime. I think she was working 10 to 12 hours. Our regular shift was 8 hours. And she had a picture of her son in her cubicle. And she said when she leaves home, because I think she worked maybe 45 minutes away from the job. But she said when she would leave home, it would be dark. And when she would get home, it would be dark. And that she basically rarely saw her son or her husband. And I think that was the reason why she had a picture of her son at her cubicle. So I said to her, I said, wouldn't it be great if full time was instead of 8 hours plus, it was only 4 hours a day, or three days a week, or 4 days a week, or 5 days a week. You don't have to be 5 days a week. You know that, right? And she said, oh, that would be great. And then she said it, and then she said, well, let me finish showing you the work or whatever. So she didn't even let the thoughts enter her mind. She didn't really even marinate on it. So this is what I want to say. I just seen a movie with Jim Carrey in it called Fun with Jane and Dick. I think that was the name of it. And basically, long story short, Jim Carrey wanted to live the American dream. He had a big house in the suburbs. He was driving, I think, a BMW. He was actually jealous of his neighbor because his neighbor had a Mercedes, a newer model Mercedes. And him and his wife both were working. And in his where he worked, there was a big corporation that, you know how they have the billion floors. They have like 60 floors or 52 floors. And I remember in the movie, whatever floor your office was on, that kind of symbolized your rank or status in the company. So the higher up you were in the building showed your status. So if you were on the 10th floor, someone on like the 30th floor will have a higher status than someone on the 10th floor. So I guess the higher up you went up in the building, as far as floor wise, the higher up your position was. So one guy was mad that he was not getting off the 4th floor. He was going to the 52nd floor. Anyway, they the owner of the company, if you've seen this movie, I don't know if you noticed, the owner of the company, Alec Baldwin, he, was like a Ponzi scheme, whatever, and he was going to take the $400 million in jet, and he had basically caused the company to go bankrupt. So basically everybody who worked there was doing like these odd jobs, like, working at the grocery store, or some of them, him and his wife even tried to rob a bank, and other people who got laid off there tried to rob a bank. And their car got repossessed. Their house went to foreclosure. Their lights got turned off, and so it had me thinking. I work a 9-to-5 job, but I hate working a 9-to-5 job. I hate having to do something for money. I hate the concept of money, and I always ask myself, why do people do things they do? You got people who rob banks. You got people who steal from each other. You got people who do Ponzi schemes. You have people who sell their body. You have people who sell drugs. You got people who do so many different freaking things. And what are they doing it all for? Money. But what do they need the money for? Let's take this to the core. No, you're doing something for money right now, or either someone you with is paying all the bills and you don't have to do anything for money, or most likely you're doing something for money. And when I mean doing something, a job or a task for money. What are you using that money for? You're using the money for survival. For basic survival. And what does survival consist of? Food, fresh water, and shelter, and clothes. That you're doing it for 4 reasons. You need food, you need fresh water, you need a shelter, a place to lay your head, and you need clothes. And then the other stuff would be, okay, you need a vehicle, and then you add on other things. But the basic 4 things you need for survival is a place to lay your head, you need clothes to put on your body, you need food, and you need fresh water. Okay, and the powers that be that are controlling this planet are making us earn this stuff called money to get the shit. What I'm proposing is if we install a new system, which will be a resource-based system, we wouldn't have to worry about this. Now imagine how your life would be. Getting up in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever your body feels like getting up. You get up, if you have kids, you send your kids off to school, or what would be really great, you homeschool your kids, or basically you just get up if you don't have kids and you just plan your day based upon something that you want to do. whatever your passion is, you just do it, and nothing that you do is based upon money. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, literally, if we didn't have to deal with money and having to, it's not even money. See, money itself is neutral. Money is not a problem. Money itself is not good nor bad. I don't hate money, because if you hate money, you will repel it. It's not about hating money. What I'm proposing is we don't need money. Money has no relevance, because we're using the money to get shit, to get stuff that should be given free. Yes, I feel like those things that we're working for should be given to us for free. And I'm not talking about everything. I'm saying the basic necessities, which is clothes and shoes. When I say clothes, I mean clothes and shoes, fresh water, food, and a place to freaking stay. That should be provided for every being on this planet. We shouldn't have to pay for that. Now you might say, well, then how would a society run? A society will run as if everybody, all adults, will basically maybe donate 2 hours a day for maybe two. Okay, so there's a lot of people on this planet, right? So if everybody, let's say, volunteer 2 hours a day, not every day, let's say 3 days a week, 3 or 4 maybe days a week. I say just 3, because there's a lot of people on the planet. So if everybody volunteered 2 hours every 3 days a week to, and that volunteer work will go towards, let's say we have a community garden. So for two hours a day, 3 days out of the week, you volunteer this garden. That would be your contribution to the planet. If this what would happen if we was on a resource-based economy. That way everybody will be participating, but things could be free, because we're going to need people's cooperation. Also, all these mundane repetitive jobs that no one wants to do, computers can do those, robots can do those. We don't need to have human beings. See, human beings, we're creative. We get bored easily. Anything that's repetitive, it drives us crazy. They have us working a so-called job 8 hours plus a day doing the same shit. Do you know that literally drives a person insane? I have almost went insane working a job. I have quit so many jobs, you guys, so many. I think I'm meant to do something dealing with spirituality, having a spiritual based profession, and I'm considering going back to school for that. I have my bachelor's in health information management. I wrote a book. I do YouTube videos. I'm very creative, but at the same time I feel more pulled towards spirituality amongst other things. But the thing that would always stop me was, okay, how am I gonna pay the bills? If I become an energy healer, how am I gonna pay the bills? It always goes back to money. If we take money out the equation, you might say, well, if I didn't have to get up and go to a job every day, how could I live my life? What could I do? You would do what you were meant to do. You would do what you had a passion to do. You could spend time with your kids. You could spend time with your husband or wife. If you don't have kids, you could spend time with yourself. You can evolve spiritually. And that's what brings me to the next point. The reason why they want us at a job 8 hours plus a day is because, think about it, when you at work all day, first of all, you're drained. I can't do one thing for 8 hours straight other than sleep. I can't have sex 8 hours a day. I can't work out 8 hours a day. I can't eat 8 hours a day. There's nothing a human can do, in my opinion, for 8 hours straight, okay, without going completely fucking mad. So they want you to do something repetitive and that makes you miserable for 8 hours a day. After that 8 hours, you're tired and drained, and you're depressed because you've been doing something you didn't want to do all day, and you're indoors. We're meant to be outdoors in the sun, smelling the fresh air, out with animals, and connecting with Mother Earth, standing barefooted in the grass, touching trees, we're being in nature where we become creative. They want us indoors, blocked off from creativity and from life. And they want us underneath this artificial light, which is bad for us, and fucking up our energy, draining us. Okay, so jobs are also meant, in my opinion, to drain you. When you leave that job, you're tired. If you have kids, you got to pick them up from daycare. You got to get them, spend some time with them, cook, clean. You have no fucking time in yourself. So thinking about your life purpose is the last thing you're thinking about. You're just thinking about trying to go to bed on time so you get up in the morning to make some money. What are you using the money for, everybody? You're using the money just to pay for a roof over your head, food and clothes and fresh water. That's all you're paying. That's the basic necessity. Now you might get cable, you might have a car, you might start buying other little things, but the main reason why you get up and go to work, ask yourself, why do you get up and go to the job every day? Why are you there? For money. What are you using the money for? Think about what I'm saying here. You're using the money for basic survival. They have imprisoned us under this monetary system because Instead of just setting up the society where everyone can have what they need, which is food, water, shelter, clean water, clothes. Everyone needs this on the planet. Okay, so if they say, let's put a system into place where you have to be at a place 5 to 6 days a week. You have to be there 8 hours plus. Once you leave there, you're exhausted, you're tired, your creativity's out the door. You don't have energy to think about what your true life purpose is. Your life purpose could have been here to change the world. Your life purpose could have been to come here and change and help humanity evolve. That could have been what your life purpose was, but you know what? You're not going to be able to fulfill it because you're at work all fucking day. Everybody's not meant to work a 9 to 5 job. I don't think no one's meant to work a 9 to 5 job. Oh, I know you're shocked by hearing that. I don't think no one is meant to. I don't care if you like your job. Do you need to do it 8 hours a day? Let's say you like your job. Think of something you would like to do for a living. Okay, do you want to do that shit for 8 hours a day? And excuse me for cursing, but do you want to do that for 8 hours a day? Think about, honestly, ask yourself, do you want to do that particular thing for 8 hours a day? Isn't that excessive? I mean, why do you need to do it for 8 hours a day? Do you know at one time, a full time was 10 to 12 hours a day? Can you imagine having to work 10 to 12 hours a day mandatory for 6 days a week? And that was changed to 8 hours full time. So why we can't change it to 4 hours full time, and then for 2 hours full time, and then we could just eliminate working period and just make it to where everyone is mandatory to have to volunteer 2 hours a day for only 3 days out of the week. So that means that you, I, and the man next door will only have to volunteer 2 hours a day, three days out of the week. That's it. In order to maintain a society and to keep it resource based. And if you donate, and if everybody on the planet, all adults donated 2 hours a day, only 3 days out of the week, then if we do that, we could create a resource based economy. So let's just say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you volunteer 2 hours, and you decide you want to help with the sewage system. I know it's a dirty job, but somebody got to do it. Maybe you maybe next week you want to help volunteer and like I said, with the community garden. Maybe the week after that you want to help with the educational system. You want to help next time with construction, keeping the roads nice and paved, and maybe you want to help next time with organizing the parks. I mean, whatever that keeps the society running smoothly. Everyone will be mandatory to have to volunteer 2 hours a day, but only 3 days out of the week. Can you imagine a life like that? How much free time you would have for your family, for yourself, and you would do what you have a passion for. Now, most people would say, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. You want to know why? Because you don't have a life. Your life is your job. I have videos talking about the reasons to not get a job. Your life becomes your job. Think about it too, how when you deal with money. When you riding that nice Mercedes, living in a nice car, if you get fired from that job, you won't be riding a nice Mercedes anymore. You won't be living in a nice home, because like in that movie, Jane, the Fun with Jane and Dick or whatever, they had to start robbing banks to supplement the income they were making before. So basically, how the society is, if you're not working for some big greedy corporation, and it's almost like working in a fucking factory. If you're not working for this big huge corporation, once you get fired from that corporation or they go out of business, that corporation was dependent solely on that corporation for your livelihood. Once it goes out of business or you get fired or laid off, you have to find a business, a job that will supplement that income, to supplement that mortgage and that car. It's not really yours. That car and that mortgage is not really yours, in my opinion, because if you're leasing a car, if you don't pay that bill next month, they can take the car. That house, if you stop paying your monthly payments on the house, they can take the house. And like I said too, in another video, you really don't own your house, because let's say the house is $300,000. If you pay that in full, if you pay the $300,000 in full, if you don't pay property taxes on that house, it can be taken from you. So you don't really own your house. You already paid for the house in full, but they're making you pay property taxes on the house every year, and then it can take your house from you. I got a video about this. You don't own your house. I don't think we really own anything on this freaking planet. You don't own the house. And if you're leasing a car, you don't fucking own it, because you stop paying those payments, they will take the car from you. So my point is, so your boss you're that company's bitch. Excuse my language, but they own you, because if they fire you, you cannot take care of your family. You cannot survive. You won't have food on the table. And if you're trying to maintain that certain lifestyle, it's very hard to find a job, just a basic job out here that's paying enough money to supplement a very high income. So if you was making $200,000 a year and you get fired or the company goes out of business, it would be probably kind of difficult for you to just go back on the job market and like that find another job that's paying $200,000 straight off. That's gonna be kind of difficult, especially as a lot of people, like let's say the company was paying a lot of people in that company that amount of money. It's gonna be difficult in this economy and just how this shit set up, because everybody, listen to what I'm saying, the way this economy is set up is that they have to have a large population of a worker class people who work long hours for very little money, so that the couple people at the top, which is the CEOs of the company, can make the millions and billions of dollars. That's how this goes. A monetary system, it does not benefit anybody but the 1% at the very top. The rest of us, 99%, have to worry about getting up every day, going to a job. Now, like I said in my another video, since we're on this monetary system, what do you think about all day, every day? Money. Every day you have to get up, either go to a place to make money, or you have to get up worrying and thinking about how you're going to get money in the household. If you don't have money coming in, you cannot survive, because you need the money to pay your bills. What are the bills? What the bills consist of? Electricity, keeping the house warm when it's cold outside. You need electricity to cook food, to make sure to have an oven. You need the money. Your bill can be your mortgage or your rent. Another bill can be a car payment. You need clothes to put on. You need fresh water. You need you have bills like a grocery bill. You need food. These are things that you freaking need. And they have made it to where humanity is we're basically wage slaves. We're under money slavery. I guess monetary slavery. We're under monetary slavery, because if you're not bringing in this thing called money, you cannot survive. You will die. If you don't have food, you don't have a place to stay. It's something bad. Yeah, you need food above anything to survive. And of course, we want to be comfortable, so we want a place to sleep at. We don't want to be sleeping outside on the ground, so we need a apartment, a home. There's no need. This monetary system does not benefit anybody. Okay, and it's keeping you from evolving spiritually. Don't you want to get up every day and just live your life? Don't you just say, I just want to travel? You can't even travel having money. You need money for every freaking thing. If we was on a resource-based economy, we really sat and figured this thing out, it would benefit humanity as a whole. We could evolve spiritually out of this. Do you look at the world we live in? We were just born to work. Literally, when you graduate out of high school or college, all you do until you die is fucking work, until you retire. You just work. You get up every day and go to a place you don't want to be for 8 hours a day. And even if you do like your freaking job, why the hell you got to be there for 8 hours? Why can't full time just be 4 hours a day, or even 3 hours a day, or even 2 hours a day? Why do you have to be there for 8 hours a day? Because if you work one person 8 to 10 hours, that leaves other people who need a job without a job. They can reduce the hours, cut them in half, and they can add triple that amount of people to that job. So if every job that's 8 hours was split to 4 hours, that would be so many other people that can get a job. Instead of just working one person 8 hours, work 2 people 4 hours. You see how this works? But we don't even need money. What is the point of money? We don't need it. Okay? You're using the money for basic survival purposes. What is the point of that? When all this should be free, we can all chip into this society, volunteer a little bit of our time to keep everything moving, make sure food is being grown, make sure homes are being built. Like I said, you volunteer 2 hours a day, three days out of a week. You can those 3 days and those 2 hours each day, those 3 days, you can go out and you can help build homes. You can help garden. We all gonna need to participate, but it's not gonna be, think about it. If you only had to volunteer 2 hours a day, 3 days out of a week, and if I told you that's all you had to do, and basically you would have a place to stay, a nice place to stay, a new car, food, everything will be provided for you, but you just need to contribute to society, just volunteering 2 hours a day, 3 days out of a week. You're gonna tell me you would not rather do that? Or would you rather be at a job 8 to 10 hours, 5 to 6 days a week, barely making it, barely have food, barely scraping by each month to pay rent? If you could have been paying rent on time for the last 7 years, you missed one month, they tacking on late fees, and then if you don't pay it, you're getting kicked out. Which one would you rather? Stressing out over money all the time, gaining weight, losing weight, getting sick, getting cancer? Did you stress out over money, so you turn to cigarettes and overeating? Relationships are failing and in trouble because money's not coming the way it's supposed to, and all you need the money for is for survival. Listen, everybody, they have had us on this monetary system for too long. We are smarter than this. We're too intelligent for this. We are creative, spiritual, magnificent beings. We don't have to put up with this, okay? And it's time for us to change this. We need to come together and change society. We need to be under a resource-based society. Don't you want time for your kids? Don't you want time for yourself? Don't you want time for your family? Don't you want to live your life purpose? You can't do that being a monetary slave. You can't be that doing a wage slave. You can't be those things and live the life that you were meant to live if you're at a job all freaking day. You and I both know this. So let's come together. Let's make a change.